We're a little more than 1 week away from the expected start of Donald Trump's 25% tariffs on Canadian goods. Those tariffs were originally expected to start earlier this month, but were put off until March 4th. And that date is quickly approaching. If they go into effect, the tariffs could have a punishing impact on Canada's economy. For more on what it could mean for the mining industry here in the north, we've reached Lisa Riley. She's the CEO of Vital Metals. That company operates the Nechalacho mine east of Yellowknife. Lisa's in Toronto today. Lisa, thanks for joining us.
Thanks very much for having me.
I'm curious, in light of these pending possible tariffs, what's the mood like in your industry right now?
I think to represent my industry, I would say there's lots of concern about incremental costs on many things that come from the United States. But I think from our industry, I tend to personally be somebody who focuses on the cup is half full. And so the way we are facing it is trying to bond together with other industry participants in the rare earth space, which is where our commodity sits, in order to flush out a Canadian-only supply chain for rare earths. And so we're in conversations with other industry partners to create a collaborative effort to provide a product that would allow us to be more competitive versus our peers in the United States.
What would that look like, being a Canadian, wholly Canadian rare earth conglomerate, I guess?
Well, there are several advancing projects, I'll say, some in varying degrees. We're about to put our scoping study out at Vital Metals for the Nechalacho upper zone. And the Defense Metals, which has a project in British Columbia, they have just put out their scoping study. Appia Resources has a project in northern Saskatchewan, and Commerce has a project in northern Quebec. So at the end of the day, we would have a collaborative effort. This is all hypothetical at the moment, but that's what we're trying to put together here with different elements of the government and so on and so forth in order to take this to another level with Indigenous ownership in the processing of rare earths in Canada.
I mean, we're already hearing about how the auto industry, for example, is feeling some preemptive effects from these looming tariffs. Are you seeing that for your company and in the mining industry? Are things slowing down kind of in light of a possible tariff?
No, we are definitely not seeing that. What we're seeing actually is very much an increase in demand, funnily enough, from the United States for rare earths, where they don't even care what the tariff is, because their bigger concern is that the Chinese are going to shut down the sale into the United States of rare earths. And therefore, that's actually driving further demand for our product, in particular rare earths produced outside of China, and in our case, Canada as their neighbor. The biggest issue for my peers in the mining industry, because we've had some calls to discuss the impact in the north, et cetera, is trying to put a pin on capital costs for projects. I think that's the biggest impact in the mining industry at the moment, is how do you estimate how much it's going to cost you to build something over the next 12, 18, 24 months when you're bringing stuff in from the United States.
I'm interested in hearing a little bit more about this conglomerate, this group of Canadian companies you're putting together. Is it feasible to have kind of a Canadian, I guess, do we have enough rare earths here? And is it economically feasible to have a Canadian rare earth conglomerate to present to a global market?
I think absolutely it is very much feasible. We have we have 4 substantially large projects in the consortium that we're talking about. Ours and Commerce are virtually the same size, and Defense, which is more advanced but is a smaller, for the moment, a smaller resource, and Alsace Lake, which is also a smaller resource, but they have lots of work to do to bring their project and make it bigger. Do I think that those are reasonably large? Yes. The Canadian Nechalacho's project is the 8th largest project right now outside of China, so in the world. So just to give you a bit of an idea, and Commerce is a similar size. So there's definitely room for us to play, and it's one of the many critical minerals where Canada has a driving position potentially for moving things forward.
So a significant stake, especially here in the Northwest Territories. Uh,
Yes.
As you face this uncertainty, what would you like to see the territorial government here in the N.W.T now doing to support projects like yours?
From my point of view, I think that the most relevant role the government can play is helping us to advance the infrastructure required to moving our projects forward. Not that I'm suggesting that the territorial government would fund that solely, but that they would help us to move those projects forward and to help us get some industry, public-private partnerships. Would, from my point of view, the infrastructure should ideally be owned by the First Nations and by the Indigenous. And so I think that the issue would be one where the Northwest Territories government and the federal government take a position to help us as industry make that happen.
What's the biggest piece of infrastructure you need right now?
Barging and rail. We need barging, a bigger barging footprint than MTS, which is owned by the government of the Northwest Territories, and we need the rail to come back up to Hay River. So that last footprint from Enterprise to Hay River is not functional. CN has said that they don't want to activate that, and we need to have that brought back on. It's a difference between projects going forward and projects not going forward to have that infrastructure.
And can you just remind us, when do you expect to start producing out of Nechalacho?
In an ideal scenario, we would be hoping to produce in 2028. And in a worst case scenario, we'd be producing in 2030.
Is there anything else about these pending tariffs or a trade war between Canada and the United States that you think is important and is impacting your company and your industry right now that we haven't talked about?
The only thing that I think is relevant is that the federal government understands that they are looking for levers in order to be able to have a position of strength vis-a-vis negotiating with the United States. And some of these critical minerals are absolutely essential levers with that negotiation. So giving us a stronger position vis-a-vis negotiations with the United States. And I think the federal government certainly realizes that. The territorial government absolutely realizes that. And so we just need to bond together and collaborate and come up with a solution that is a Canada-only solution without looking for funding or strength from the United States.
Do you feel confident that that can happen?
I do.
All right, Lisa, we're going to leave that there. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.